Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 328 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, we are going to be talking about fake it until you make it. And I know that many of you are rolling your eyes saying, Jenny, we just talked about authenticity in the past couple of months. How are we possibly going to do something that doesn't sound authentic? Give me a minute. I promise we're going to get there. If you are just listening in, you need to go back and listen to the last couple weeks. We've been continuing this series that follows along with my free workbook that you can grab that goes along with my book, Influencer Entrepreneurs, the 5-step framework to building your audience, growing your business, and making money online. You're going to want to make sure that you have that workbook because there are exercises for each of the episodes that you have been listening to. So if you're listening today's for the first time, grab that workbook. You'll be able to go back, catch up, and also get today's episode done. All right, so let's talk about this whole idea of fake it until you make it. Have you actually heard that saying, fake it until you make it? Now, before you go hog wild on me, because you know we just finished learning how important authenticity, let me actually give you a scenario. Then you can decide if you still need to argue with me about faking it until you make it. And you all know you can always argue with me over on Instagram at Jenny_Melrose. I'm always in my DMs, and I love to hear your thoughts on what it is that we are talking about on the podcast. Picture that you are at a conference to help you develop your business. The first speaker walks up to the podium with her head held high and a slight smile on her lips. She takes hold of the clicker for the slides projected on a screen behind her. You can see her take a deep breath, and then she starts addressing the crowd. Her voice is strong, and she's making eye contact with the audience. She even asks the audience a question and ribs them for not participating, which of course sends a ton of more hands in the air. She delivers the content at a quicker than usual pace, but has delivered valuable content. Now visualize the second speaker. She walks up to the podium with index cards in her hand and makes a half-hearted joke about how she's so nervous that she's sure she'll have her slides playing backwards. She reads her title page of her presentation and flips to the next slide in the right direction. She continually looks down at her note cards and back at the screen with her projected slides on it. Her voice is soft, and she keeps nervously flipping her hair. She gets through her first couple of slides and then loses her train of thought and goes off on a tangent that isn't quite related to her topic. She makes another half-hearted joke that she can feel her heart beating in her ears, but continues forward while shuffling through her cards to try to find where she left off. She finishes her presentation and has delivered some value, but in a roundabout, hard-to-follow way. Based on these two different scenarios, who would you want to hire to speak at your next event, or even to work one-on-one to help you grow your business? Who is faking it? If you guessed the first one, you're right. The second presenter didn't attempt to fake it. Her nerves got the best of her. Would you be surprised to learn that the second speaker has spoken at multiple conferences in the past, but she changed her topic at the last minute and was unfamiliar with the material, while the first speaker had practiced her presentation multiple times? Here's the kicker. It was the first speaker's first time presenting in front of an audience. She faked it until she made it. She didn't have the experience that the second speaker had, but she put in the work on her presentation and faked the confidence that usually comes from having presented before. She didn't let her lack of experience hold her back, and no one in the audience would know that this was her first time speaking. Her confidence would likely land her new clients who may even be her first clients, but she is clearly going to put the work into understanding her craft. Of course, you'd feel confident hiring her. In order to have confidence in a situation that you've never been in before, you absolutely have to fake it until you make it. You need to act as if you've done it 100 times in the past. This is especially true when you are trying something new for the first time. So whether you are launching a new product or offering a new service, you have to have confidence in yourself and fake it until you make it. If you've done your research and talked to your audience, then you know that the product you're offering is going to solve their problem. That is what should matter. Don't focus on the fact that there isn't any proof in this product yet. What about all the valuable content that you've put out in the past that has helped people? Just because you've never launched a paid product does not mean that you should play small. This is also the same thing when it comes to video. I often hear from clients and students that they're afraid to get in front of the camera. They've never done it before. They're totally uncomfortable. They can tell that they're stammering. The only way to get past that is to practice it. Whether you are going to practice that and then just decide to delete it and then redo it another time, that's fine. You have to actually put in the practice. Take the leap. Be ready to play bigger than what you potentially are at right now. That is the only way to grow. If you are looking to grow your business, you have to be willing to take that risk of trying something new. Something new is going to feel uncomfortable. That is usually a sign that you're about to grow. You have to learn to push through it. And if you make a mistake, pick yourself up and continue forward. Like I said in those two examples of those presenters, the first one didn't have any experience speaking live in front of an audience, while the second had a ton, but came unprepared for the content that she was delivering. So figuring out a way to make yourself feel confident, faking it until you make it, whether it is wearing those shoes, that dress, putting on lipstick, or just listening to music that peps you up before you get onto stage or in front of the camera. Everything that we talk about, you can turn around and look at your own business and see where you are holding yourself back by not trying something. So fake it until you make it and see where it can take you. All right, you guys, if you haven't grabbed the workbook, I want to make sure that you do. I'm going to walk you through an exercise that really helps you figure out what it is in your business that you need to fake. Whether it is something, and it's normally going to obviously be things that you haven't done in the past. So grab that workbook so that you can walk through the exercise. And if you haven't already grabbed my book, grab it as well. What are you waiting for? It's going to walk you through everything even deeper than we already are. All right, until next time, I will see you all then.